right, we are here in my tiny traveling worm bin, and it has been about 41 days since we were in here last, and during that time, we had done a migration to try and get all the worms over on one side of the bin and the worm castings over on the other, and it worked out fantastic, and we were able to get all our castings out and have the worms in there and restart this bin. So during the last 41 days, what we've been doing is kind of feeding them periodically, but during that restart, we added some cardboard pieces from our migration barrier, as well as some dry shredded cardboard. Then we put in some lettuce stalks and lettuce leaves, as well as strawberry and pepper tops, and a few blueberries, followed by an avocado shell. Then we added some expired goji berries, as well as worm chow, coffee grounds, and eggshell grit. So we're going to be looking to see if we find any of that, and that was kind of right down the center here, and that is where I'm seeing lots of castings, so that is fantastic. And over on the edges, we're seeing some more of the shredded cardboard, but we're also seeing some stuff sprouting. We'll just kind of lift that up and let them continue to eat on it, and we're seeing some great worms. Now, this bin's carrying capacity is about 1,000 worms, so no matter what, if I start with 500, it'll eventually get to 1,000, or if I put 2,000 in here, it'll eventually find its way back to 1,000. So this is a men's 12 shoebox size bin. It's about 3 gallons in volume, and it's only about half full, so it's only about 1.5 gallons, but it is doing a super job of being a tiny traveling worm bin. In fact, we took it on another trip to the Blue Ridge Mountains with a bunch of our old high school friends and lived it up for a few days on the river with some amazing Smoky Mountain scenery in an awesome place called Eagles Landing. While we were there, we all ate wonderful food, as one of our friends is an accomplished chef, and we had some vegan eaters slash cookers as well, so there was lots of food scraps for the worms to snack on as my friends got acquainted with our tiny traveling worm bin. So we gave them some watermelon as well as some coffee grounds and filters, along with strawberry tops and a corn cob, some grilled corn husk, an avocado pit and shell, along with some soiled paper towels. So we're going to kind of dig through here, and I think I'm already seeing some of it because right over here is an avocado pit, I think, and it looks like the mites have found it for sure. Let's kind of do a close-up here, and you might be able to see some mites moving around there. I think I also see one little teeny tiny potworm, or can't tell if it's pink or not. It's kind of brownish near the avocado shell, but if it is white, and I think it is white, actually, that is a potworm, not a small red wiggler, and it's been in here a while, so let's see if we can help them by opening it up, and there we go. The worms are going to get to this much faster now that I've kind of broken up the avocado shell, and they are definitely not this easy to break up when you first eat your avocados, so they've been marinating in here for a little while, and this looks like maybe some of the paper towel that was in there. Now, those aren't the only feedings we put in here. I periodically put in some other food that I just didn't film or I kind of forgot about, so if we run into something I didn't talk about, that's okay, because there might be some other stuff in here, and we are seeing a lot of worms right around this, and this is kind of a 1-2 punch here. We've got a corn cob along with an avocado shell, and check that out. Talk about mite city. Oh my gosh, those mites are absolutely stripping the avocado of any kind of flesh whatsoever. And sometimes if I saw a mite bloom like this, I might be worried that maybe the bin is kind of having parameters that are out of whack and kind of causing a mite bloom, but as of now I don't think that's the case, so I'm not going to take any drastic measures by trying to put some wet bread in here to bait them out or anything. But let's check inside the corn cob. Sometimes they go inside the center. This part of the corn cob is going to take forever, so we're going to be revisiting this, and a couple of worms there up and around it and right there. I don't really want to try and break this up to see if there's any in there, so we'll wait for that for some other check-in. This looks like it was maybe an eggplant or something. I'm not quite sure, but lots of fun things in here over the 41 days that we fed them. And one thing I'm really impressed with is how much they've kind of turned the bedding, which was mostly cardboard, into castings, more so than I would normally see if I started a brand new bin 41 days ago, because with that migration, a lot of the microbes are able to come over too with the worms and the food, and that's just some more of the avocado pit. Thought that was something new, but I think I've been stirring it around here. Now, we did use some of the migration barrier cardboard and we just kind of put that in the bottom. So I think that's what we're seeing there, and check it out. Check out that really dark worm. Love it. All right, let's kind of make our way over to the other side over here, and we're aerating this out so we don't get any pockets of ammonia or any kind of fermentation in here. It's always good to periodically dig through your worm bin if you're able to and kind of get some oxygen down in there. This is an avocado pit that I'm just going to dig out because, again, more mites, but also we got some good worms in there. Sorry about that. I kind of disturbed you all. Let's dig over on this side and see how they're doing. Again, pretty impressed. The moisture level is really good because look, it kind of forms, but it also breaks apart. And we're seeing lots of great mature worms like this big fat guy right here. We're also seeing little babies, so that's pretty good. Let's look over here on this side. I'm not sure if there was anything different that we fed over here, but it's one of the things I do like about kind of just feeding them as I go, as I'm making food scraps. It's just a new adventure every time I dig in. So let's kind of make a trough and we'll kind of put the stuff that is left over in here as much as we can. And we're just going to give them a light feeding because we are going to continue to travel and feed them as we go. And even when I get home, I feed them as we go. So I don't need to give any kind of big feeding to this worm bin at all. So there's a little bit of a trough and in goes the corn cobs. So let's go ahead and start with bedding like we do with every feeding. So in we go with some more dry shredded cardboard, and I put mine in dry because the moisture level is pretty good right now. I'm going to be adding some wet food to it. So first thing we're going to do is put in a couple lettuce stalks, and they have some pretty big volume here, but really this stuff is going to be gone probably in about 3 to 4 days. But it does do a good job of adding some moisture. Next we're going to add in this strange fruit, which is an angel cot, and I'm going to make sure that the worms can get to it. This may take a while for them to eat. I'm not sure. Sometimes plums or apples or, different kinds of fruit will take a little bit longer, and the mites might be really attracted to that. And we'll go in with this pepper that just kind of grew too long in my garden, and I mean long by time, not by length. And this is just a piece of eggplant, and I'm going to put that right there. I'll put it down like that. Let's just kind of make it pretty. There we go. You know what? Let's make it symmetric. How about that? All right, there's our feeding. Next, I like to go in with some worm chow, which is just expired grains. Helps me to get rid of the stuff that's expired in the pantry. And yes, eventually I hopefully will run out of stuff that expires and I won't be letting things expire like that, but the worms will eat it and I don't put a whole lot in there. Next, we'll go in with my favorite way to get rid of coffee grounds, and sometimes I have too much, so I just put them in my regular compost. And these I also don't put too much because I don't want to heat things up. This is an indoor worm bin, so it's not as important as when I put it in my outdoor worm bin. And they'll enjoy eating that coffee, a lot of nitrogen within it for them, and this is just some eggshell grit, helps them digest their food. Kind of like birds with gizzards, they use it to grind it up and make it smaller. Next, we'll just top it with a little bit more of my shredded cardboard. Now, as you see, that shredded cardboard is super small. If you have a shredder at home that's about 12 sheet crosscut or even just 12 sheet regular, you could probably put some corrugated cardboard in there. It is very scary the first time you do it. It certainly was when I did. But if it's 12 sheet, it will get it and shred it up. But if you want something super small like that, you want to get a 12 sheet crosscut micro shredder. It's that crosscut and micro that gets it to that really small pieces. So if you're going to buy a shredder, make sure it says that. And I've got some affiliate links if you're interested in purchasing the one that I use, or actually it's a upgraded version of the one I use, but I really enjoy it. I think I'm going to add some more shredded cardboard on top here. So yeah, you can check out the description or the pinned comment, and that's where I have all the links to all the equipment that I use for my worm bins. Next, we'll just make use of this paper bag that we had in here, and I just do this to kind of keep the moisture down, along with the bubble wrap plastic that I have here. And you'll see, maybe even by the next feeding, the worms will have eaten a huge hole right in here like this. And if you're enjoying this bin, you can see how I restart this bin from scratch in this video right here. So I hope you're all having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.